Oh, hello there. It's me, Berry Gatherer, the known gacha expert. So beside Wuthering Waves, there are some other pesky games that want a piece of Genshin's immortal glory, such as Azure Pompilia. What kind of name is that? Is it even a human language? And I, as a Berry Gatherer, absolutely have to tear it apart. But the problem is, we know a lot about WUWA and how trashy it is, but we don't know much about this game. It's not like I made my assumptions based on a couple of trailers. I actually thoroughly researched the topic after the CBT. I always make quality content. But for Azure Pompilia we only have a few trailers, some gameplay demonstration, and that's all. And what can I say? It's a trash game, of course. But I cannot really properly tear it apart. To think of it, WUWA is the only Genshin competitor that's gonna come out soon. I mean, not Genshin competitor, of course. A trash game that will never surpass Genshin. What is that? Some juicy berries! I must get them now! So, while the Berry Gatherer isn't busy, we can talk seriously. Because what can be more serious than gacha games, right? We're solving global problems here, guys. For what can be more global than love for some pretty anime girls? So there's a question that has been keeping me awake at night. Can Genshin die? You might say that it's a dead horse that only a lazy content creator hasn't beaten it. But I think it can take a few more strikes. I often hear how Genshin is such a good casual game, where you can pick mint all day, every day, without a care in the world, while listening to Paimon's insightful conversations and spending weeks farming for a new shiny character to use them to beat up some villager. What I want to talk about is how Genshin is an amazing game in all aspects, really. It actually kinda sucks in both directions, as a casual game and as a more combat-oriented game, and how some sneaky devs can capitalize on it. Well, there is no need to talk about combat-oriented content in Genshin, because what can I say about something that doesn't really exist? All we have is Abyss that's so fun and cool that I can't help but fall asleep every time I try to do it. We have a super easy combat event that reruns every once in a while, and Hoya hopes that we won't notice it's the same domain challenge, but slightly overhauled. Genshin kinda baited people in the beginning of its existence with all those combat events, but then pivoted and chose to cater to super, hyper, mega casual audience. I want to confess, I'm not a pro gamer. I kinda suck actually. I catch strikes with my face about as often as I catch them with my sword, but I still like some challenge. And the last time I found challenge in Genshin was when I tried to solo level 36 cube with level 20 characters without artifacts. Weekly bosses could have been fun, but they nerfed the first ever weekly boss in game. I will never forgive them for nerfing my guy. So the combat content can be summed up in a few words. No updates, no challenge, no quality of life, nothing. Did you know that Genshin Endgame was actually annihilated by Acheron? That's in the lore, trust me bro. So if horror devs don't actually give a damn about the gamers who want to use the game's core mechanic, elemental reactions, maybe the game is a casual paradise, providing the nicest, easiest, coziest, smoothest experience without a hint of a challenge or an inconvenience. Maybe I, a hardcore nerd without a life, cannot comprehend Genshin's true value. Genshin Impact is such a nice, casual game. You can log in at any time you want, you can even skip a few days without missing on that much resin, because there is a resin overflow system. Oh wait, it's in the other game. I mixed them up. All gacha games look so similar. But it's okay, Genshin devs always listen to their community. They will definitely add it as soon as we ask, right? At least leveling up and building your character is so easy and straightforward, right? You can just complete it in a couple of days. You just have to crawl across the mountains for an hour straight, trying to get their ascension materials. Oh, don't forget to use the interactive map. You don't need to spend time rolling across the terrain and looking for some stupid specters or Nobushi or whatever the heck is in the new region, because you have an amazing in-game guide that shows you locations of all the mobs you need. Well, of half the mobs you need, or even less than half, but who cares about that, right? And you don't have to gamble for artifacts to get substats you want, so you can at least use your character properly to one-shot the villagers in the open world. You totally don't have to grind those repetitive domains while praying to RNGesus and getting one flat defense stat after the other. There is nothing more refreshing than a little bit of grinding, right? And talent and artifact descriptions are so short and easy to understand. The 7-year-old kids with Gambling Edition will definitely be able to get what the skill is supposed to do. Oh, the devs have added a manual that tells you how to build a character. That's so nice of them. But it didn't exist for 3 years, and poor casual gamers were wondering why their characters are so bad, and why they can't clear the story bosses. And you know, I love waiting so much, and the longer the better. And the devs have kindly provided me with peak waiting experience, with talent and weapon material domain. This is my favorite piece of content. There is nothing better than waiting for several days to farm some crap to make your character a little stronger. Combined with resin cap, it makes progression in this game truly enjoyable, especially if you're a new player, or if the character is released together with the new region. Genshin really wants to stop you from having that little fun it can provide, and make you do chores in-game. In the end, the true endgame is the cogblocks that we encounter along the way. They totally aren't stretching out progression to hide the fact that there's nothing else to do once you complete it. In short, the game requires too much commitment for a casual game. The game wants you to log in every day and grind, but it doesn't give any meaningful goal to grind for. And it also has some progression systems that lead nowhere. And it doesn't even let you complete your dailies from your daily grinding. So you have to log in, grind, spend your resin, and then either explore or do an event to complete your dailies. The exploration can be pretty chill if you are in the right mood, and if you don't do it for too long, because it gets repetitive pretty quickly. And the fucking 5 prima gems from a chest are just laughable. And it's not like you can find some interesting loot. Also, I think Genshin exploration could benefit from some more challenging mechanics, like sheer cold or lightning strikes from Yashiori Island. It just makes exploration that little bit more engaging, but it causes too much stress, so they decided to discard such mechanics completely. So you might ask me, what a good casual game is, in my opinion? Well, shit Starbucks. When you don't feel like playing it, you can just log in for 10 minutes, farm anything you want with auto battle, complete your dailies automatically, and log out. And when you feel like playing the game, you can just do some story, exploration, or endgame stuff, which exists in this game. That's truly unimaginable, right? It's a casual game that respects your time. Ooh, it was one hell of a detour, but how does it relate to Genshin competitors? If you want to win, you should exploit the opponent's weaknesses. Give your audience what your opponent didn't. For Wuthering Waves, it's combat. Combat endures in Genshin have been forgotten for so long that if you promise them endgame and some fun combat mechanics, they will jump into your game, at least to try it out. But for games that are more casual and more similar to Genshin in terms of gameplay, art style and overall vibes, the competition will be harder. So games like Azure Promilia have to create a better casual experience. For example, they can make map traversal faster and easier and more pleasant. Or they have to make farming actually matter and make it more interesting than just planting 24 plants and waiting for 3 days until they sprout. They can also make minigames that are actually fun and maybe even included into the main gameplay loop in a meaningful way. Or they can even add cute little pets and maybe even let you take care of them and interact with them. Honestly, combining Pal World and gacha games was an amazing decision. And because of that, Azure Promilia already has its own unique feature. So I think it has pretty good potential, even though I'm not personally interested because I'm tired of Genshin's bright and colorful world and I want to play something darker and edgier. So in the end, can Genshin die? Of course it can't. It's immortal. It will live forever. But seriously, it's almost impossible to kill Genshin because mint pickers will always pick their mint. They will never leave their mint. But as other similar games keep releasing and providing better gameplay than Genshin in some aspects, people might become more willing to check out the competitors. So the player base will slowly trickle into other games. And after some time, Genshin will become just a gacha game, not the biggest and the most profitable one. Especially if problems like underwhelming anniversaries, minuscule rewards, and the lack of communication with the community persist. And with that in mind, don't forget to pick your berries.